Now let us see what are the key elements of the essay understudy, that is, what is an author. Now, author problem first appeared with the rise of the press, then became solid in contention. See, solid in contention is something which is very significant here, no? Because an author now carries epistemic entitlement. Foucault also says that author is an ideology. No? An author is an agency of discourse. He initiates. He is a creator of a text. Creator of a text. Something very important. No? Likewise, you find that he is a persona that is readable and scriptable, because the author produces a text for readers' consumption. No? So, a text is for readers' consumption, something very important. So, an author is a cultural construct. Later you find that he talks about how an author was earlier entitled to immortality. He was regarded as a hero figure and was also believed to be unique in intellectual power and at the same time originality of thinking. The author being an authentic voice was also emphasized when Foucault said that he is a cultural construct. So, an author is connected with the apparatus of information, knowledge like medicine, law, culture, power, politics, philosophy, science, etc. We come to what is an author's name now. What does the title author imply? An author's name is not just a proper noun, something very significant here, very significant. At the same time, you also find that he says that it's a mode of discursivity, it's an author's name is an ideological expanse. He is not just, grey eyes or tall figure. See, he is much more than this. Then he says that an author characterizes a particular circulation and operation of a discourse, whereby you find that a text enters into the realm of production, classification, assimilation, and then at the same time what is important is the creative consumption. So, author name functions as a classificatory tool. For example, if you take Shakespeare, here let me talk about Shakespeare, you find that Shakespeare is both a sonneteer as well as a dramatist. So, this way you find that Shakespeare is both. He is a sonneteer as well as a dramatist. See, because he has written 156 sonnets, he occupies a different shelf in a library. And as a dramatist, you may find him next to Marlowe, but the same Shakespeare cannot be next to this Shakespeare where Chaucer might find place. So, applied to singular study, author function might be complex, but against group of works, entire disciplines add distinctiveness through relatedness. This is an extension of what I explained here. And now, the author and its kinds. Let us see how many kinds of authors are detailed by Foucault. So, Foucault first details a transdiscursive author. He is one such who can be the owner of one book or a theory or a tradition or a discipline. So, he is one person who has branched into many, like Aristotle. You find that Aristotle is both. He is the author of analytics, and is also the founder of ontology. Second category is founders of discursivity. They are such authors who produce their own text with possibilities for the formation of other texts by distinct and varied discourses. For example, you have Marx, and today you have branches like scientific Marxism, you have cultural Marxism, you even have, for example, sociological Marxism and whatnot. Na? Then you further have branches when Marx was followed by Weber. So, this is how the discursivity travels from one generation to another. Now, coming to the author function, Foucault says that author function becomes important due to production, circulation, classification and consumption of text. He says author function is important as an author authorizes a text. He authorizes the idea of the author. So, author function becomes corollary to what? To the operation of discourse. And then he also says that the author function is now tied to legal system. This is something which is very important, because now an author has to take responsibility of what he says within the body of a text and is now under punitive cover. That means in case he makes any transgressive, transgressive discourse, he is likely to be punished for it. No? So, this is to discourage such discourses that an author function is tied to legal system. No? Next is this author function does not appear uniform across various discourses. Example, science versus literature. So, we are all not eager to learn inventions, though some inventions are a part of a regular daily life, but we would never talk about a text, for example, a small poem without its author. But you don't mention an inventor when you talk about something like, Samsung TVs are better than Onidas, or when you talk about, iPhones are better in terms of privacy of data. So, the author function is not uniform across all discourses which exist in the apparatus of knowledge. Now, author function also determines a mode of complex operation, where he quotes Saint Jerome, and he says that a text can be attributed to an author only if it meets the standard level of equality, that is the first. Second, maintains a coherent idea. So, what is important is first that it should have standard level. Second, it should have coherent idea. It should have uniform style, and last, the author figure should be a historical figure, and last he says representative of multiple schemes. For example, an author may be a fictional narrator, or he might appear as an alter ego for the one who is otherwise flesh and blood being when you read an autobiographical text. Now, students, the question arises, what is the outcome of author function? See, the author function promotes consistency. That is something which is very important, consistency. So, you look into any branch, whether it is stylistics or whether it is ideological or whether it is cultural, you find that it maintains a level of consistency. And then second, which is very important, is that author function fears proliferation of meaning. See, this is something which Foucault elaborates in detail, and he says that it rejects a literary text having single purpose, single meaning and one singular existence. Now, because a reader is given the right to make his interpretations, he has now the right to create new and individual meanings, whereby a reader may not be reading it in the sense that the author had intent upon while presenting it before the readers, and whereby the text's intended meaning might become secondary in its importance. Thank you so much.